Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tommy Cannon, and what I'm about to talk about is when I did my national service in 1958 to 1960, and I was in the Royal Army Ordnance Corps, and I was trained as an ammunition storeman, which I fairly enjoyed it. Not the basic training, but the aftermath of the army was good training, good knowledge, and you learn how to appreciate comradeship, keeping clean, looking after what you got, the clothes provided by the army, and a little bit of respect for other people.
Do you remember your first day when you did your national service?
When I first day, it's an experience you've never dreamt of. When you get there, there's very little shouting and hollering, but that you have to hurry up, get your clothing out the stores. That's like crash bang rock, put this on, put that on, get thingy. But the first experience I've remembered, which stuck in my brain, is the following morning when someone comes round at 5:30 in the morning, shouting and hollering, banging, trying to get out of bed, and you think, oh my God, and I was 24 months of this. What's happening, you know?
They're men of the RAF regiment undergoing realistic training at their regimental depot, Cattery. They're young national servicemen, and it's all part of the grueling business of becoming an efficient soldier.
That's the first thing you think of when you go, not arriving at the camp, like, you know. And then I'll tell you what another thing it was when after a few hours I get, now right, first of all you need to get yourself some boot polish, cleaning cloths, blanco. And I thought, oh my God, I had tuppence in my pocket. I had no money then, like I never had. Oh, and then I wound up borrowing half a crown off a fellow I just got to know, and he had a few quid to buy these things, and then I paid him back at the end of the week, and the same thing the next week, and the same thing, till eventually I didn't do it no more. But that's another experience stuck in my mind, having to ask people for money, like, you know. I couldn't go home weekends. Friday night, Friday afternoon, you'd have the weekend off unless you was on guard duties, and that was it. Coaches used to pick you up outside the camp, go to London, pick you up overnight, Sunday night, bring you back. But I was one that couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford the coach fare. The only time I could go home is if I had a week's leave with a free travel pass, which allowed you so many a year, you know, and a week's money on top of, you know. But then, so it was sacrilege not to go on weekends, but people understood if you had no money, what could you do? I used to stay there weekends. Weekends was all that quiet, no one around. Food was better, strangely enough, because all there was Scotsmen and Geordies who couldn't go home too far, and so the food used to come up a little bit better, the eggs and the bacon, and, you know, so I didn't mind it weekends, you know. And that's when the story of becoming the so-called gamekeeper.
Can you just explain what a gamekeeper is?
Yeah, a gamekeeper is to breed birds or whatever for somebody else to shoot, which is today is not a very good subject, but them days it was accepted. And then, as I was going to say, that one day we dug up a fox vixen, had 2 cubs in there. I remember I hit it with a pickaxe, and the old gamekeeper finished off with a shovel. Sounds so wicked now, but then as a teenager, you know, it's all part of life, and pulled out 2 cubs. And because we knew they got into the pheasants, killing some of the pheasants, and we knew that when we went to the fox earth, there was all feathers and where the cubs had been playing, so we knew she had cubs. And anyhow, I remember killing the big, like, it's terrible to say it now, but then it didn't matter. But I would never dream of doing it now. We've got foxes around here, I'd rather throw them a bit of food out than kill them, you know.
What did you enjoy most about being a gamekeeper?
The mere fact it was the opposite to me normal life of living in a town with a big family, living out in the wilds, in the woods and fields, and, you know, that type of thing. It was a whole new experience. The strongest part of the story is the fact how I got the job. When I went to see the 2 old gamekeepers in a hut in the middle of nowhere, And as soon as I opened my mouth, they went, no, you're a towner, you ain't a country, well, you ain't interested in this, you just want it as a Skype. And I said, no, finished, end of, not got the job. But I was sitting there, and then he starts talking to the other gamekeeper, saying, funny enough, whereabouts you come from? I said, in London. I said, from the East End. That Limehouse? Yeah, Limehouse, where I come from. Oh, he said, I was there, and he's telling the other fella now that he was stationed there in the docks when they had the general strike, protecting the food convoys in and out the dock. He was the sergeant of the Welsh Guards. And then he's saying to the other bloke, and I was billeted by the Cockneys. He said, those Cockneys are the salt of the earth. You know what I mean? I'll get a little bit choked now when he said that. Here I'm in the middle of them, he talked about the docks, the ships, and he said, well, you come here in the morning, we'll give you a try. And I never looked back. And they loved the Cockney lingo. That, you know, what's your name, the comedian, Cockney comedian, let's get nice and comfy, you know, Frankie Howard and all that sort of thing. And he must have had a feeling, because he asked me one day, put my name forward for a job at Balmoral Castle as an underkeeper, if I was interested. They wanted someone with the army discipline sort of thing, and I had to say no, because I was halfway through apprenticeship, and I want to get demobbed out of the army, and I'll give it a knockback, you know. And so there's a story, like there's an experience that unlike others, you know. But during that job as a gamekeeper, looking after chickens and pheasants and thingies and chickens and eggs and partridges and things that people wouldn't believe me now when I say it, but I've got photographs to prove it. You know, it's a totally experience to what going back to the docks, working on ship, burning and welding. And it's something in your brain, it's part of the great glory of doing national service. These things don't happen to you otherwise. This is the man himself, he's the gamekeeper. He was a top man. He was the man that got me the job, who gave me the job. Took a chance and took me on to see how I shape up, which I was grateful for, because I did it till I got demobbed. This photograph is of me inside the gamekeeper's hut, or one of them, and it was with a cheap camera head with no flash on it, so I had to open the lens, keep perfectly still for so many seconds, and let the lens shut, and you get light in, and the picture come out pretty good. Well, there's me with the old shotgun and rabbit, part of the gamekeeper's picture layout, my locker layout, which I need to do, but I kept it like that in case anybody wanted to see. So it was pretty clean, smart, wasn't it? See, we were dressed up like that with the hat on and the sunglasses. Well, the hat was what we used to tear out of our jackets. The denim jackets, we used to tear the pocket out and put it on your head. You can do it with pockets, make it into look like American Army hat. And that's what that is on my head, like I just said, a pocket.
What was the training like?
Went hard, because you're not used to it. Suddenly you've got to teach you how to march, thingy, chunk, and people shouting at you, and then, like I say, one day on one of the parades, we was getting ready for the Queen's birthday parade, and you do a big parade for that, and the geezers pulled me out of the thingy, lazy on parade, march him to the guard room, and then they marched me to the guard room, one in front, one got in the guard room, on the floor, polish the floor, got a boot brush, polish the floor with, and every time the officers come in to put their keys in, they're giving get up, down again, oh my God, and you go 20 minutes while they do the parade, and then after 20 minutes you go back with the rest of them. But there's an experience, you think, oh, never know more of that one. And then, you know, other things like walking through the camp, and you get somebody say, come here, hold your back up, no backbone, hold your backbone. Because you hear a voice from nowhere sort of thing, you know. Just one or two little things. Other than that, you know, but in basic, it's a matter of discipline. another thing, when I went in there and they hand you your kit and you discipline, look after it, polish your boots and look up, press iron, press your tray. But when they presented me with the kit, 2 sets of underwear or 3 sets, I didn't have 1 set. When I was a kiddie, one of a big family, didn't have a pair of underwear, couldn't afford them. And then there, didn't that teach me to look after my gear? I looked after it, it was mine. Pyjamas, 2 shirts, you know what I mean, like 2 pair of boots. I had 1 pair of boots and no bottoms in, that's all I ever had. 2 pair of new boots. Something I meant to tell, I used to get up the crack of dawn before anybody else. And I'd have a wash, shaved, get me eating irons, which is your knife, fork, spoon and mug, and I'd be over the cookhouse before anybody, thousands of people in that camp, and I was always first. If anybody was there before me, they must have been on guard all night. And I should go in there, have me breakfast, back to the billet, put my knife, fork, spoon, cup in my locker, lock it up, and the blokes were still in bed. But I should get away from the camp, even though I was excused, I should get away and go over to the old gamekeeper's huts, and then I'll go there. They didn't get it till 9. I'll be in there, make me sort of cup of tea and light the fire up, but I used to have a little open fire, cold, and just keep out of the way.
Do you think women should have been allowed to do the national service?
It should be voluntary for women. If they want to go in, sign up.
Do you think the national service should be brought back today?
Yes, for a short term. My belief is we should have a national army thing here, like the Americans have got, National Guard. So you get called up, do all the discipline, all the army discipline, and then when it comes to, not 2 years, do a year. But after the national training to be a soldier, the rest of the time should be there as backup for flooding and the police and helping them and emergencies like what's going on now with the biggie. So they'd be doing their army service, but they'd be doing some service not to go and fight and kill people, or not to kill people, but to do cover. The army should be independent from that, so there should be a National Guard and a National Army, but both on the lines of national service, to be disciplined, how to march, how to move together in one group, how to be companionship and that. But then, like I just said, I repeat again, they'd be there to back up floods and other services and clearing up and clearing the roads and that type of thing for a year, and then it get demobbed.
But what life skills did it give you today? What do you...
It just teaches me, I suppose it teaches me to respect other people, look after what I've got, and have a that sort of thing. It's just the fact that, it teaches you to appreciate what you got when you ain't had a lot, and a bit of respect for each other.